Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Seraphon Warscroll, the Skink Priest.
Warscroll Review.
A supreme being of light and stardust, more powerful than any man could imagine. The Skink Priest. Just as the Skink are the best battle line unit, the Skink Priest is Seraphon's best character unit. 4 wounds and 5-up save means it dies to a stern glance, but it is somewhat mitigated by its tiny size and age move. It has 2 weapons, and they are better than you'd expect. It's still not worth mentioning the melee weapon, since this should never get in combat, but its ranged weapon is somewhat noteworthy. 18-inch range with D3 shots in Ren 1 is not bad at all, and can shave off a wound here or there. A slant can summon one of these on a 5, which isn't a terrible idea, but should only be used in very specific strategies. The reason the Skink Priest is so good is because of its Celestial Rites ability. This triggers in the hero phase on a 4-up and allows the player to choose one Seraphon unit to reroll all run, charge, and save rolls. Rerolling run and charge rolls is great, but rerolling save rolls for an army that mostly ignores Ren 1 is extremely powerful. Rerolling save rolls for Saurus Guard, Carnosaurs, and Slan can be extremely effective. The priest can choose between 2 free upgrades, but should basically always choose the priestly trappings. The Cloak of Feathers lets it fly 14 inches and add 1 to save rolls, but the trappings let the player affect all Seraphon units within 8 inches, not just 1. This buff is extreme, and with the right positioning, can affect most or all of the Seraphon force. The one time Cloak of Feathers may be worthwhile is when the Seraphon player only has 1 unit they want to augment. To top it all off, this thing is a measly 80 points, making it the cheapest leader Seraphon have access to, and one of the cheapest for Order Grand Alliance. Since the Celestial Rites ability only triggers 50% of the time, and they are so cheap, it is always best to take 2 priests. Give them priestly trappings, and stick them near as many units as possible. It's worth noting the ability is not an aura, and effectively gives off a buff in the hero phase, wherein the models can move around freely afterwards. Hide the priests whenever possible, and never let them get in combat. Keep them protected by chaff at all times. They can take a couple shots with their ranged starbolt weapons, but don't expose the priest to enemy fire to do it. Also, don't forget the prayer's ability to reroll run and charge rolls. This makes the surrounding Seraphon units fairly quick as well. Obviously, any Seraphon unit can make use of the priest's abilities, but units like the Dreadsaurian and Bastiladon are the greatest benefactors. Give the monster Mystic Shield and Curse of Fate to make them almost invincible. The Bastiladon especially, since it ignores Ren values. Mystic Shield would give it a 2-up rerollable save no matter what it's fighting. Curse of Fate from a Skink Starseer would allow it to bump up any save roll of 1 left over after rerolls, completing the trifecta with a Skink Star Priest. And while it doesn't do anything for the unit's save, its spell, Summon Starlight, decreases enemy hit rolls of 1 for the target, making something almost impossible to kill even harder to hit. A Skink Starseer also offers the benefit of its ability Cosmic Herald. This can grant the Seraphon player rerolls. Having a reroll to ensure that 4-up for Celestial Rites succeeds can be pivotal. The Skink Priest obviously pairs best with other Skink characters, but there are other synergies. The Priest can be a Slan Starmaster's Arcane Vassal, allowing the Slan to cast spells at a further range. With access to Seraphon Allegiance abilities, a Slan would also be able to cast both the Skink character's signature spells, allowing the Seraphon player to purchase 1 Slan with both spells and Mystic Shield, rather than 2 or 3 Skink characters to achieve the same. With a Seraphon Allegiance, the Skink Priest would also have its own unique command traits to use. Master of Star Rituals allows the priest to use its Celestial Rites twice, effectively giving it a reroll, but can be used in combination with Lords of Space and Time to buff 2 different places at once, by using Rites, then Teleport, then using Rites again. The only noteworthy artifact is Incandescent Retrices, which would increase the model's survivability. This item would allow the priest to avoid death on a roll of 3-up, and then redeploy 12 inches away from where it was with D3 wounds. It's worth noting it doesn't lose its last wound, so a good roll on a D3 and the Skink is fully healed. Lords of Space and Time is the Seraphon's battle trait. It would offer a bit of flexibility to the priest. After hiding the Skink Priest, This can be used to redeploy the model near units to use Celestial Right's ability. Alternatively, if the Seraphon player forgot to stay in range, Lords of Space and Time can be used to correct the mistake, and again put the priest in the optimum position. Now is the perfect time to reiterate the other portion of the prayer's ability, reroll charge rolls. While 9 inches is still not very likely even with rerolls, this does certainly help. The Dracothion's Tail Battalion Warscroll does not include the priest, but the skink does synergize well with it. Giving the Seraphon player an excuse to summon models, and summon the priest in this case. The Slann could summon in a priest ahead of the front lines, or use Lords of Space and Time to achieve the same goal. After the Skink Priest is ahead, the player can summon the rest of their army, using it as an arcane vassal, and buff them with Celestial Rights. Check out the Dracothion's Tail Warscroll review for a more in-depth look at that tactic. Another battalion the priest doesn't fit in but does synergize with is the Eternal Star Host. This battalion increases the Saurus Guard's armor save to a 2-up with Ignore Ren 1. Paired with Celestial Rights, the Guard would be insanely defensive. The Skink Priest fits into an army that includes any important Seraphon models. Every Seraphon player should have 1 or 2 of them in just about any army. The Skink Priest receives a 4 out of 5. The model is vital to any Seraphon force, and if it weren't for its laughable survivability, this model would be a bit much for its price tag. What do you think of Skink Priests? What Warscrolls would you like to see reviewed on the channel? Leave your answers and questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.